Hey guys, welcome back here to this week's edition of Mental Mondays on Intuitive Angling, and thanks for joining us today from the unfamiliar surroundings. You regulars can tell I'm not in the tackle room this week. I'm actually at Kentucky Lake for our first Toyota Series Plains Division tournament, so in here in the hotel room doing today's video. And guys, what we're going to talk about today is how life can be very hard. Life is hard, but it can be very hard during different phases of your life, more than others. And I sort of want to delve into that in today's Middle Monday and maybe give you guys some insight on my experiences, what's helped me, and some of the experiences from the people around me that I've observed over the course of my lifetime so far. And also, guys, just want to give you guys a big thank you, all the regulars to Mental Monday, for subscribing to the channel and using all my links in the descriptions to support the channel. I know a lot of the people that are regulars to Mental Mondays are big channel supporters, so thanks a lot for that. It definitely does not go unnoticed. Okay, guys, I'm trying to get a good segue into this. I wanted to get started in this. Life is hard, man. It is. It's like, it's not hard all the time. I mean, life at the fullest, it's like you're going to experience every emotion the human being has, the highs and the lows, in betweens. Ideally we like to experience a lot more highs than lows, but I think that's just the nature of human existence, that we're going to experience a little bit of everything here. And it can be very difficult. Life can be hard at times, and there's not anybody out there that can really escape that. And what we can do is there's things we can do to lessen those times, and there's also things we can do to where they don't quite affect us on a deep level as much as some people allow it to affect them. So I want to sort of get into that in today's video. I think one of the first things to remember about the fact that you're going to go through some hard times is the fact that so much of it is what your attitude is about a hard time. That is so true in every aspect of life too. It's like one person, let's say for example, say we're going fishing and it's 25 degrees and the wind's blowing, and one person's going to say, oh man, it's so cold, it's going to be miserable out there, those fish aren't going to be biting, it's just going to suck out there. And another person that's in the same boat can say, man, this is going to be great today because this cold weather is going to keep a lot of the anglers off the lake, and we're going to have the lake to ourselves, and they're probably going to be biting because of that. Same situation, but just a different outlook. So when you think in terms of life being hard, so much of it has to do with how you choose to look at that particular situation. And that's the great thing about human existence is out of everything that we have control of, the thing that we have control of the most is how we look at a situation. Nobody can force us or tell us how to perceive a situation. We have the choice of either looking at that situation just like I talked about in the reference, or making the worst out of it. It's sort of like the situation it's like the free will we all have there. But nevertheless, sometimes there's things that come up in life that it's hard to transcend that. It's just hard to transcend and sugarcoat it and convince yourself that something's not bad. So one of the things that I think is really important in dealing with, the hard times in life, is that a lot of people get overwhelmed by something. Some people have differing levels of anxiety. Some people get overwhelmed really easy. Other people don't. Everybody's got different levels of anxiety and being overwhelmed or not being overwhelmed. And I think one of the biggest things that you can do to deal with those hard times in life is you sort of have to learn to compartmentalize different things in your life. Let's say, for example, if you're struggling financially, you got a lot of different stuff going on in your life, but you got this big cloud hanging over your head about finances or something like that. You're going through a rough time. Most people are probably going to experience that at some point in their life, unless you're independently wealthy. One of the things that's really going to help you in that is when you have a situation that you feel is really stressing you out or causing you a lot of anxiety, focus on one thing at a time. Don't try to focus on the fact that, okay, I've got some money problems here, and then I've got some issues with my spouse that we're not getting along that great. I've got some problems at work. I've got something going on with my health. You may have a lot of different things going on, but you have to focus on one thing at a time. And if you focused on one thing at a time and try to bring that to the forefront and try to look at that situation and, okay, say, I've got this situation here. I'm strapped financially or whatever it could be. It could be any number of things out there. Take the time to just laser focus on that one issue out there and formalize some type of a plan to transcend that particular problem. Now, almost any situation that you have out there are things that can be done, maybe not to completely get rid of it, but there's things that you can do to lessen its impact that doesn't quite make it so difficult and make life so hard. So I think that's one of the big things that a lot of people, they're not taught as to how to focus and compartmentalize their life to deal with issues and deal with problems out there. So many of the people that I know that get really, really overwhelmed in life is they have not learned how to compartmentalize issues in their life. And that really causes a lot of stress and anxiety when you do that. So, write it down, man. If you can't, do that process mentally in your mind, write down the issues that you have in your life and just start checking them off one after the other with that. Another thing is just realize that everybody goes through that. There's not anybody out there that is immune to having some hard times in life. I mean, everybody has a different scenario and situation in their life that causes difficult times, but don't ever feel that you're alone with that. You're not alone. It's something we all deal with out there. And I think a lot of times people they get so locked in on their own personal situation that they overlook and they forget that a lot of times. So a couple of different things also that you can do with that is sometimes you just need to recharge. When you're having a tough time with something, sometimes a little bit of alone time is really going to help you out. A walk in the park, walk down the creek, day on the lake, being out in nature, just sort of getting away with a little bit out there. And it gives you time to reflect. It gives you time to sort of step back, take a breath, and sort of analyze the situation for what it is out there. But it's, I think another thing about this is like in our modern era today, it's like people living in 2024, I really believe that we have a lot more difficult time today in dealing with, hard times in life than a lot of people did before. I mean, people before technology and back when life was a simpler time, they had their own issues and their own situations out there, but they didn't have as many things coming at them from so many directions that we do right now. It's like we are, as a society, we are tremendously overstimulated, and that stimulation affects every part of our being. It affects us mentally, spiritually, emotionally, intellectually, every different part of that. I mean, we are in an age where never before has information been so freely accessible and people been exposed to it so much. And that can create, a whole different set of situations, along with it same way. Another thing about that is just talk to somebody, man. If you're having a hard time with something and you're struggling with somebody, one of the best things you can do is just find somebody that's a good listener, bounce it off them. If you have somebody that is a good listener, consider yourself very, very, very fortunate, because there's a lot of people out there that are not good listeners. They don't have the patience to listen to somebody. It's like they don't have the patience just to sit there and focus and absorb what somebody is trying to convey to them. It's almost like it's difficult for some people to do that. So if you've got somebody that is a good listener and is not there to really try to fix you, they can help you, they can make suggestions, but there's a big difference between somebody trying to fix something immediately and letting you sort of vent your frustrations a little bit. I mean, it's all about getting centered is what it is. And the fact of talking to people like that, spending some alone time, learning to compartmentalize the issues you're having out there, all of that helps make these hard times in life go a little bit smoother with that. So a lot of it also has to do with sort of creating your own reality from your decisions out there. One of the things that I have seen in my own life is like we all think that we are trying to do the best that we can. But in reality, a lot of times we're not doing the best that we can, but we think we maybe are at the time. One of the things that I have learned as I got older from making a ton of mistakes, and believe me guys, I have I've made a ton of mistakes in my life on a lot of different areas, but the more mistakes that you make and the older you get, the more that you tend to make those mistakes fewer and fewer times again, simply because you learn from it. And the best advice that I can give you that can help you from initially getting into a very difficult time in life is try not to make snap, rash decisions on anything. It doesn't matter what it is. It's like a lot of times when we're faced with something, we tend to have like a knee-jerk reaction. We say things maybe prematurely we shouldn't. We do things prematurely that we shouldn't do. A good exercise that will help you cut that off in the past is when you're faced with something that requires a response from you or requires some type of action, just take a second to take a breather and just focus and calm down a little bit, center yourself before saying something that will, get you into some hot water or get you in a situation where it's not a good scenario for yourself. And I know that's hard to do at times for everybody out there, but that's one of the things that I have found that's really, it's a really good exercise to remind yourself. Just try to focus everything with a calm, cool, collected head. And nobody is perfect at it, guys. I'm sitting here talking about it, and I'm not perfect at it. I mean, I do the best, and I try to improve myself every single day. But guys, I still make tons of mistakes, just like everybody else does. We all do. Some people can acknowledge those mistakes. Other people have a more difficult time in admitting or acknowledging their mistakes. So it's, everybody's built different along with that. But anyway, guys, it's sort of, if you're, if and when you will, but the situations arise where you have some rough patches in the road, just realize that, man, it's just like, it's going to pass. Everybody goes through the same thing. You can only do what you can do. Try to, just stay focused, stay centered, compartmentalize everything. And just once you go through that, try to set up a situation where you don't have to experience that again. And it's usually works out a little bit better with that. But this is sort of something they should teach in schools. They don't teach stuff in school like this. So like for somebody like myself, I had to learn the hard way through life's experiences, which I'm still learning. But that's sort of what we're all in here, guys. This incredible little, pale blue dot. We find ourselves in the middle of a, universe that's nearly 14 billion light years across. I mean, it's just, we're just everybody's just, on this wonderful adventure, experiencing life and then all of its, ups and downs and in-betweens out there. So anyway, guys, hope you're all well. We'll talk later. See you.